Welcome to Explorer Classroom. My name is Vivette Dukes, and I'm so glad that you are joining us today. At National Geographic, we use the power of science, exploration, education, and storytelling to illuminate and protect the wonder of our world. Explorer Classroom connects students worldwide with our National Geographic Explorers for short lessons and time for your questions. That's my favorite part. This school year, each month will be organized around a specific theme. So this October Explorer Classroom will be exploring the importance of water conservation. Today, our explorer is none other than Safa Fanaian. Safa is a researcher who studies urban rivers, which means rivers and cities where lots of people live. She knows rivers can be a wonderful thing in a city, providing transportation and beauty and places for wildlife and work. She also knows that rivers come with risks, such as floods and pollution. Today, we'll hear how Safa works with organizations that work to protect rivers and the people who live by them. But before we get into today's lesson, I'd like to welcome our registered viewers who join us from around the globe. Special shout outs for today go to Eaton Elementary School, Berkeley International School, Creekside High School, Arlington Public Schools, Coyote Ridge Elementary School, Our Lady of the Way School, all of our home schools out there. We have joining us ECS grade 6. We have Kaya joining us today, Mr. Tomlinson's 4th grade, and we have Simone out there. I think you have a larger class, but I see the name written as Simone. So thank you to all our classes joining us. We are excited to have you with us. And with that, let's get the Explorer Classroom started. It's time to turn it over to Safa to share all about urban rivers. Take it away, Safa.
Hello, it's so lovely to be here today. I'm just gonna share my presentation to the start. So I'm going to talk about urban rivers today. What is an urban river? It is any river that is involved with a city. It is either a river that flows through a city, like the one you can see in this picture right now, or it's a river that provides water to a city. So that means the water that you get in your taps comes from this river. That is also an urban river. Do you know what is the river that serves your city? And there's so many beautiful things in the world right now. Among all of the beautiful things, many of you might question, why did you pick to study urban rivers? I mean, they're not pretty. They're stuck in concrete jungles, and sometimes they don't look very pretty. So why did I pick this topic? I grew up in a city called Hyderabad. Hyderabad is a very big city. It has about 8 million people. You can imagine it gets very crowded. Hyderabad is also in one of the drier parts of India. And so water was always a problem growing up. You had to always save water, collect water. And even now, when I hear water just running somewhere, I get nervous thinking that I need to go close the tap somewhere. So always I have wondered, growing up, why is there the scarcity of water where I live? Why is it so difficult to get water? I see water around me, but why is it difficult for it to come in my tap conveniently? As I started studying at school, I started learning more about earth and water systems, and I got more curious about rivers. And that is how this fascination with rivers started. From there, then I went on to, that's also me. And then from there, I went on to explore different aspects of rivers. And one of the things that I noticed was urban rivers. And actually, in the beginning, I did not even notice them. I thought they were a open sewage system flowing. This is the picture of a river that flows through Hyderabad. It's called the Musi River. What do you see when you look at this picture? Look closely. So there's some murky water, there's some plastics flowing around, and there's a lot of greenery in this picture. You might think greenery is a nice thing, but for a river, so much of greenery is not a good sign. This means that there is increasing eutrophication around the river. What is eutrophication, you might ask? I don't know if many of you have started studying about eutrophication. Eutrophication is a process where in a lake or a river, there is increasing nutrients going into the river. So it means the river is very rich with nutrients. Now, nutrients are a good thing for plants. They're a good thing for humans because they help you grow. But in a river, it is not a very good thing. Where do these nutrients come from? These nutrients come from sewage. It is a lot of the waste coming out. It consists of nitrates, phosphorus. And so this begins a chain reaction leading to high levels of algae, high levels of plant growing right into the river. And why is that bad for a river? Because these plants start to soak up all of the oxygen of the river. And there is very little oxygen then left for the fishes in the river, which need that oxygen to survive. So you see rivers dying and all of the wildlife dying because of this eutrophication process. This is a picture of a river. That's not a garden. This is a river which is covered in algal blooms, and it's slowly starting to eat away into this river. Why is it important that we conserve these urban rivers though? One, we get drinking water supply. A lot of the water that comes in your taps comes from these rivers. So it's very important for humans. Two, another thing is that a lot of these urban rivers are sources of waste that go into oceans. If you see these little streams, all of that plastic eventually lands up in a river. About 245 metric tons of plastic waste every hour go into the oceans from these type of urban streams. What is 245 metric tons? It's about 2 blue whale sizes. If you want to look at it in human size, it's about 160 humans. Every hour, this much of waste goes into the oceans from these little streams and rivers. Currently, there are many such small rivers in Asia, and Asia is one of the biggest contributors of waste into the oceans. But Americas and Africa, as urbanization is growing, a lot of the waste potential is also increasing. So these kind of pictures you will start seeing in a lot of American places, in Africa, in Europe. So it's a growing phenomenon. It's not only stuck in one place, but we can avoid it. There are so many things we can do so that this picture changes and becomes like the ones on the right side. These are pictures of different urban rivers in different countries. So you see, it's possible to have beautiful urban rivers as well that flow, that have transportation, that have wildlife floating all around it. These are all pictures of different. It can go from one on the right side to the one on the left side. It takes about 5 years for a river to revive itself once you stop all of the waste going inside it. And what did I study? My research specifically looked at who's taking care of these rivers. What are they doing about it? Why are they not improving what they're doing? Who are all of the different people who are working on it? Is it only governments who are working on it? Are citizens involved? Are NGOs involved? Is the UN involved? So as a researcher, I explored more about this. And what I found is this. Now, this might seem like a complicated picture. What I want you to take away from this picture is all of the dots and the different decades. If you see in 1970, there were like fewer people working on rivers. By 1980, it grew. By 1990, it became more. By 2000, it became even more. And by 2010, there's this growing dynamic of different groups of people. In 1970, it was only the government that was working on rivers, on improving the condition of rivers. In 2010 to 2019, you have the government, you have different organizations, international organizations, citizens. A lot of citizens have started working on rivers. So while there is pollution, there is also an increasing number of people who are working around it. So I'm very optimistic about the condition of rivers. Now, what can you do? There's so much that each of you can do to protect the river that goes through your city. One very important thing, and I'm sure you've heard it from many people, is reduce the plastic, reduce throwing away plastic. Many of these plastics eventually land up in rivers. Find out what's the name of the river that is along your city. Find out whether that river delivers water to your city. If you see something, if you see a lot of waste being poured into the rivers around you, say something. Talk to your mayor, talk to your school, talk to your municipal government. If you want to do more, volunteer with your local river groups. Find out if there is a local group around you that works on rivers. If you want to know more about the river around you, all of the wildlife that's growing in it, join a home river bioblitz. Most importantly, notice your river and keep a lookout for it because it's your river and keeping it clean helps you in the end. Thank you. Yep.
So amazing. All the rivers that you've been to, all the work that you're doing, your call to action. Thank you again to Safa and to all the students and teachers watching. We hope you join many, many more of our events. Next week, November 4th, marks the centennial anniversary of the discovery of King Tutankhamun's tomb in Egypt's Valley of the Kings. On November 3rd, we'll be joined by explorer and Egyptian archaeologist Nora Shawky, who will tell us how she uncovers history and what we can learn from the past. The following week, we'll be joined by National Geographic archaeologist in residence, Fred Hebert, live from Alexandria, Egypt, to learn how he uncovers treasures from ancient Egypt and what stories these treasures tell us. You can register for these events and more at natgeoed.org/Explorer Classroom. You can request a chance to be featured on screen. Fellow teachers, we've also created a new interactive guide for you to share with your students to take them on a learning journey with each of our special guests. Find the Explorer Mindset in Action Guide and Teacher Edition linked on each event registration page. We look forward to seeing you. We thank you for joining us today. Have a great day, everyone. Remember to stay curious and keep exploring. Bye.
Thank you so much.